folks. Welcome back to the Ain't Shit Show. I'm your host, Marcos, also Terry Gross.
Very mellow opening.
Yeah, no, because I don't want to scare. The last time we had a guest on, I scared the shit out of them. Be like, "Welcome back to the racism hour." Like, no, that's not what we're trying to do here. You know what I'm saying? It was a bit, and I realized it was a little too big for my.
What's your favorite race? My favorite race is the Tour de France.
the Tour de France is cool. But
I'm a big fan of what's that Formula One track that's like really scary and bendy?
500.
No, the one that's like in Germany. Fuck.
NASCAR? The Tour de Germany.
Yeah, the Tour de Germany.
Deutschland.
Yeah.
I love Deutsch people. They get freaky with it. They got Frankfurters. I'm a Frank actually, so that's a fun one.
I like the lemons race.
There's a lemon race.
It's supposed to be the race at Le Mans, like the French race, but it's just all fucked up cars. It's literally, the rule is like you have to stay under like a certain budget, and you have to do all the work yourself. It's fucking crazy.
That sounds tight.
See, these are good races. This is what we should talk about on Twitter. This is what the real race war is about, is who's the fastest.
Who's the fastest?
Like, what's up with that? Why is race called race? It means like competition.
Yeah.
Like, I think
so
it's built
true.
into language. I've always thought it was strange, even as a little kid. I was like, why is it called race?
It's
Who's
crazy
winning?
how we've had the same thoughts. Like
Yeah.
our life. It's I can't.
The Nürburgring.
Yeah,
That one.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you would like some German.
There we go.
Listen, it's got like, it's surrounded by like really pretty forest and shit, and it has like fucking like hairpin turns, which is not super common for like Formula One tracks.
I'm
a lot of
partial
them
to
tend to be a little bit better, but like the Nürburgring is like, hey, you have to like get down here at like 200 miles an hour, and then you have to turn like 200 degrees.
I'm partial to the.
Did they go left?
I'm partial to
Left,
the
right?
Did they go
I'm partial
fast?
to the Texas maps.
They go all over the place.
Cruising USA.
I want to go to Bergheim. That's the German club where they pee on you.
I
Oh.
don't want to go there.
I don't want to go there.
We
That
have-
sounds
Club.
bad.
We haven't
No.
even introduced who our guest is. Which I'm joined
Or the
by
other
Ivy.
hosts.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
joined by
yeah.
Ivy as
I like this
always.
bit. Let's
I'm
keep
joined
going.
by Ruben,
Don't even
and I'm
introduce.
joined by special guest FrankJavC, who Frank, I gotta credit you with like
You're welcome.
my whole swag, like all of
Well,
it.
we were talking about this because you were like I was like a couple generations from now I'm going to be worshipped as a fertility god,
I
and then you were
100%
like
agree that,
everyone who like came out of my womb now has like a podcast. They now make hip hop music. There's a couple. I'm pretty sure a couple people I inspired have Grammys right now. So it's like
yeah, I
okay,
don't
cool.
have
Damn.
that at all, dude. Like
Yeah.
you high key. Listen, you taught me how to get on. I was like grinding my head into the ground trying to figure out FL Studios.
Yeah, I was busy on Grinder trying to get my FL Studio.
Studio, I get you. But I was like trying to figure that shit out, and you came on the scene. I remember like early on to your like it was your Tumblr.
Yeah.
like, it was a link to your YouTube. That was
I miss
like,
my Tumblr. I had to delete
love
it because
your
I had too many like honest opinions on there.
I get you.
That's so real, man.
I had a really
Become
big Tumblr.
inscrutable.
I had a really big Tumblr that was a Wario account.
Oh,
that,
that's
like-
sick. I probably did follow you then. I love Wario.
Yeah, I had like a massive Wario account that I like abandoned because people were getting very weird about it.
Well, yeah, Wario's hot as fuck. I would get weird about Wario if he was real.
I wish it wasn't sexual weird. It was
Yeah.
like fascism weird.
Oh, we were talking
that's
about
not
that
right.
earlier.
Wario's not fascism weird.
That's-
No,
yeah, it was-
Wario likes money.
They
and
were like,
women.
well, they were like libertarian style.
Waluigi, I could see. But
Wario.
Waluigi, I could see doing like if you want to like, because there's like a theory that Waluigi is like trans, so like I could see
Let's
them
go.
getting into
I
like
see it.
some Nodspool stuff, like something really esoteric.
Yeah, that tracks. But yeah, your FL Studios, like I remember it was you doing like your vaporwave stuff was
Yeah.
what got me into it, but it was cloud rap.
Oh,
was
yeah,
like,
that was a
oh,
good
it-
one.
It clicked for me. I was
That's
like,
the one
oh, that's how
Filthy
you make-
Frank found and followed me. And
Yeah.
we used to share demos to each other, and I convinced Tim on Skype I was a flat earther.
That sounds sick.
Damn,
as
I
hell.
did not know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I sent him like a couple tracks because I wanted him on a couple of my tracks, but like we ended up just like drifting apart. The last thing he liked of mine was it was like a lo-fi hip-hop post I made, where it's like fake lo-fi hip-hop thumbnail on YouTube, and all the comments are like, who's on drugs right now, who's smoking weed? So that was like 2017 era stuff. That was the height of clout rap, which is like having a resurgence recently, because everyone's like, remember XXX Tentacion? And they're like really talking about that right now, like on Twitter and stuff.
It's crazy how
I've noticed that. It's kind of wild. I didn't expect him to make the post-mortem comeback like 4 years after he died or whatever.
Well, his son is like already kindergarten age, and like they're on live, and he's like, that's my dad, and it was like all these people having XXX like profile pictures.
Jeez.
Like, could you imagine how surreal that is?
God damn, yeah, like that's fucking crazy actually.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine like having my mom like as a kid, like having just like effigies of my mom as people's avatars like online. I have no idea what the fuck that would do to me.
Every time a famous celebrity dies, they just do the half
face, yeah.
And it's just like, that's your dad, dog. Like that's kind of fucked up, dude. Like you gotta just live with that.
Well, that's just their kid. That's his life, you know. That's just what he deals with. That's something that, well, you know, I believe that when you die, you get to be everyone in the world. So when we go on that run through, it's gonna be like, damn, that's what that feels like.
Yeah,
Wait, when did Filthy Frank die?
Not what are you
XXX Tentacion. Rest in peace, Filthy Frank. Though.
Rest in peace, Filthy Frank.
Yeah, rest in peace.
It was funny because like that whole shtick was like, oh, what if I created someone who was like really bad and dumb? But now the internet is just filled with people that are like even beyond that level, and like they're genuine. That's just who they are.
Yeah. It's beyond parody.
Now they have like podcasts called like How to Dress and shit like that. You know what I mean? And, like,
I love dressing. What's your favorite dress?
I actually have the Mason Margiela Gucci skirt. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm really into like soft feeling, so I bought like what is it called? I don't know, but it feels nice. I like things that feel nice on my skin.
I've got like one of those like it's kind of like a t-shirt dress almost.
Yeah.
It's like one of those kinds that like kind of hugs you, and it'll go like down about like half to your thighs, and it's got like a couple pockets. It's pink with like little white stripes. Really comfy.
So I got really into fabric recently. So like the fabric that holds the most stink is polyester. So like I'll just wear polyester like underwear, walk around in it in 3 days, and then take it off, put it in a Ziploc bag, and sell it to my biggest fans.
That's
why.
Because people are into stink. It's money. I get why you would do that.
It's like why? It's like maybe I want a new HD monitor.
Yeah,
4K. It's like,
I mean, yeah, no, that's right. I mean, like I'm fucking like day trading cryptocurrency, so I don't really have any place to judge.
See, there you go. Same thing. It's almost the same thing.
I would actually say what Frank is doing is more honest than what I'm doing. Like, he's working hard to generate that stink. He's packaging it. He's
it's a
shipping
bit
it.
odd because I have to go on what's it called, Temu, and get like the 40-pack underwear with like dollar bills on it, and like the oil from getting it from China to here, like that's a little bit iffy, but like it's the only one that holds the stink properly. Everyone's like, oh, 100% cotton, like it's breathable. Like I don't need it to breathe. I need it to suffocate.
Yeah, you're stank maxing.
Yeah. I've been maxing. Okay, so like 2 years ago, I went through a phase where I'm like, I'm gonna pleasure max. So I just made sure to do the most pleasurable things possible. But that shit was really bad for like my cardiovascular system.
I can imagine that turning out really awful. Actually, like you're so lucky. No one was like, you know what really is pleasurable is it like heroin, because that just
You know what sucks? When I was like a teenager, I was obsessed with Kurt Cobain, like so much so I was like, maybe I should try heroin. Maybe it would make my music better. But then I read his biography, and now I like low-key kind of hate him. He was kind of scummy in real life, but like because he died young, he's like, you know, seen as a Jesus figure, but he was like, you know, being rambunctious, doing like hood rat shit.
I always think about like what my legacy would be if I would have died at 27, because
me too,
being the most unhinged fucking open micer that ever existed. You know
there you go.
And like that's not a good legacy to leave behind. I think
you would have had a mural in a coffee shop. I would have visited you.
I was telling people on this like a few episodes ago that like I was notorious for doing unhinged shit at open mics.
Show me right now.
No, one time I ate a plate of like buffalo wings.
Yeah.
Like, I get up on stage, I put the mic down onto the floor, and I sat down onto the floor, and I ate buffalo wings into the mic.
I would watch you eat food and give you money for it.
Well, people were very mad about that because they're like, we're a comedy club and we do honest comedy. I'm like, what are you
That's
talking
funny.
about? That was the
Forced
funniest thing.
ASMR on an open mic is so funny.
I used to play YouTube videos. I would just be like, hey, you guys seen this? And I would just put the YouTube video into the microphone and play it over the PA system. And I would just be like, I wish you guys could see this right now. And that's what, like,
I wish you could see this.
yeah, I would do stupid shit. Like, I would get up on stage. I think one time I get up on stage and I took my shirt off, and then like I was good. Like they were expecting me to do something, and I turn around and I started telling knock jokes, and like it had nothing to do with anything. I didn't have plans. I would just go up there and act a damn fool.
Can you film a video of you doing that right now and DM it to me?
I gotta work up a sweat first, and then I'll...
Yeah. I mean, either or depends. I don't mind wet or dry.
No, I only send out wet videos. That's kind of
The
like
thing is, it comes from you, and that's all that matters.
yeah.
It's funny that you did that in the first time we were hanging out. Really, like when we did that cipher, I did the same thing in front of like a bunch of people in Redwood.
That's
City.
how I knew. That's literally how I knew that me and you were gonna end up in a podcast together. Like it was fated. I was like, oh, this guy gets it.
The show was not going well, so I got on stage and did stand up, which was just me telling everybody about the one time my grandma caught me looking at my own butthole.
That's crazy.
And I was like looking through my legs, standing on the toilet because the mirror was like across. So my grandma like opens the door, and I'm just like full starfish spreading cheeks.
That's amazing. I love that.
I can't imagine what your grandma like did after that. I'm trying to think about like getting like if you had dinner after that, like what was she thinking?
We did. I must have wrecked her life.
Yeah, like what? I don't
What
know
is
what
this kid doing, bro. I'm trying to look at it. I've never seen it.
I like the exact opposite. You walk in on your grandma looking at her butthole, and she's like, I can explain. It runs in the family, you know?
Dude, that'd be hilarious.
Oh my god!
It's because like the hallway bathroom, the one that I was doing it in, is one of those like sliding door bathrooms, and there are notoriously broken locks on it, right? So it just never fucking locked.
That's such a good bit. I love that. I wish my grandma saw me looking at my own butthole.
That's a good.
I wish for me.
Yeah. I can't top it. I don't have any better grandma stories. Like that's the best grandma story. All of Ruben's stories are like infinitely. They're funnier because they come from a place of like
love.
Yeah,
heart.
we're like it's just like naivety where all my come from. Like I'm just being horrible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't respect the artwork that these people are doing.
Most of my stories come from circumstances. Like one time I was kidnapped by Mormons. That was pretty fun.
How did that? Please
that was
elucidate.
Wait, for real?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a long story, but basically I met this like husband-wife duo who were extremely Mormon, and they had a vapor dance group, and they were like, "Oh, we're moving to LA," and I was like, "Cool, let's do a show together." So I booked them a show at my friend's like pier, and so then I showed up, and there was a 3-year-old nonverbal child in the backseat. I'm like, "Who's this?" And they're like, "Oh, that's our son." And I was like, "I didn't know you had a kid." Whatever. So let's all go to San Diego together. So then like we're going down to San Diego, and they start showing me their Mormon Bible, and like because apparently like in the Mormon church you get your own planet, so they're building a VR planet, and in that VR planet was going to be like their whole family and stuff, and they wanted me to join them, but I was like, nah, I like smoking weed and drinking coffee. So that's like the first like, you know, crack in our relationship started. So then afterwards we get to San Diego, and I was like, so where are you guys staying? And they're like, oh, in our van. I'm like, oh, that's kind of spicy. And they're like, yeah, can you watch our kid while we perform? So I was like, okay. So I was babysitter for their kid while I watched them perform, and then we got into a big argument because this is where it gets like horror movie-esque. Like I really want to write this down because it really happened to me. My biggest hater in like 2016 was this guy named Vaporwave, and he would always just like trash every single thing I do, be like, you're horrible, make posts about how they hated me and stuff. Vaporwave ended up being the husband in that band, and so I was like, oh shit, yeah. So then after that happened, I was like, hey, I don't want to hang out with you, go back home. And we got into a big old fight about it. And then locally I text like hundreds of people, I'm crazy about this, but luckily one of them was a bouncer at a strip club in San Diego who was going to LA, and he had like a trash bag filled with magic mushrooms, and then I had my first mushroom trip while he drove me back to LA from there.
You were living. It's crazy that we were living the same lives. The only difference was that I was doing it in the North Bay, and like I was fucking. It was awful. It was.
We need to meet in Modesto. That's what we need to do. We need to meet in Central California to see what happens.
Fingertips to see if like if the world explodes or not. You know what
I would touch tips with you.
Yeah, no, for sure. Dude. Listen, hey. off the pot
guys
with
gonna
touching
dock?
tips, dude.
I want a dog.
You know what's funny? Like touching tips within the industry is such a big deal. Like, no comment is all I have to say about that.
I feel like that's how you. That's a Hollywood hello, right? Like
that's
how you really connect.
That's how you got into the Diddy parties.
Yeah, you touch tips, dude.
Yeah, and if there's pre-cum that goes like how long the pre-cum goes, like that's
how
how
long the relationship.
Yeah.
More or less. Yeah, I get you, dude.
It was a beautiful time. Everyone was hanging wang and touching tips.
Yep.
No,
It's like breaking the wishbone, but with your dicks.
I used to do like unhinged shows. I used to like put them together, and they were noise music shows. But like,
I love noise musicians.
there wasn't enough noise musicians in the Bay Area, which is psychotic. You know what it was? Is that
I
like
don't find it psychotic at all.
I do because like you would think that the Bay would have more noise music guys, right? Because like a lot of people dress like noise musicians, but they're not noise musicians. They don't do noise music stuff. So
I'm not surprised that the Bay doesn't have any, like, considering that the hyphy movement was going on when you were doing noise music.
That's true. You know what?
Surprised.
You know what? Yeah, you're absolutely correct on that one. I wasn't thinking about the timeline here, but like that's so like I was like an early adopter on this shit. But I was doing noise music shows, but because there wasn't enough noise music acts, what we would do is we would like hijack a show and have one show be like, oh yeah, this is a hip hop show. We're getting local artists, like local rappers together to come and rap. And the first half of it would be that. And that's when everyone would show up and they would be hype about it. And then without telling anyone, the last half of it would be like a noise music act. So we would hold these massive like events where we would have people being held hostage, essentially. Right? Like,
I recently did a show like that in Arizona with, okay, do you know KJ Valium? He's one of my favorite autistic white boys. Like I have an autistic white boy in like every city.
yeah, I'm glad you do that.
So KJ Valium, he's like
a scary situation.
He's a dragon. So like his persona's a dragon, I'm a tiger. We get along from that. But he does like noise. So he booked me for a noise set where I was like the only like regular music act in the middle of these noise acts. And so for my set, it was like a bunch of girls, a bunch of gays, a bunch of people showing up to watch me play saxophone and DJ like, you know, dance music. Then as soon as the noise acts went on, all the hoes got scared and they all just went outside. But it was funny because like I'm sitting outside smoking weed with everyone afterwards and I'm like, he really did play Scare the Hose music. All the hoes are out here. And then I blew weed in my saxophone and that shit smelled like weed for like 3 weeks and I had to wash her and I felt really bad. Like, cause like, I feel like they're alive. So like whenever I have my sax, I'm like, I'm sorry, baby. I didn't mean to blow smoke in you.
I used to feel that way about my kalimba. I had a little kalimba and I would, my favorite bit that I used to do on stage, especially like for open mic nights, was I would get on stage for a comedy open mic and then just play the kalimba and then I'd be like, knock, knock. And then I wouldn't finish it and then I would leave.
You sound horrible. Like, honestly.
Yeah, it was awful. I was doing awful shit.
Because, like, I play the game. That's my thing is I love playing the game. Like, after I finish a set, the bartenders dap me up. The security's like, yo, that was tight. Like, if I did that shit, like, I understand, like, the opposite of the game. Like,
yeah. No, I was in it purely just to ruin people's nights. Like, to me, I was mad. You know what it was? Because I was working, like, 2 jobs at the time. And I only had 1 day off, and like the 1 day off, that was when I would truly rest. But every night I would go out. I was doing like 5 open mics a night. And my favorite thing to do was to put my name down as just a completely unpronounceable name. Like I would just put like 5 X's, 3 C's, and a W, and be like, "Good luck."
Yeah, good luck. Up next we have.
I do shit like that all the time. And then when I would get kicked out of the venues, I would stand outside and have like my homies sign me up. And then as soon as they called my name or the name that I put down, I would run up and like I would just run into the crowd and be like, "Yo, what's up, everybody?" And like they couldn't stop me at that point because I'm up there, and I would just do the same shit. Where like I got kicked out of a famous comedy club because I tried to kickflip a wrench and I destroyed their floor.
That's crazy.
Yeah. No jokes. No introduction. I just get up on stage, like, "Hey, what's up? I'm Marcos," and then I just put the wrench down and started kickflipping it.
Did you even know how to kickflip?
Yeah, I was a skater, dickhead. Okay.
That's crazy. I tried to skate once, but I like sprained my ankle really badly, and it's weird because I have like weird ankle issues. Like I'm always landing on my ankles for some reason.
Yo, so I literally broke the top of like where my neck and my skull meets. I broke that, and I was like in the hospital for like 3 weeks.
Do you think that affected your art at all?
It made my art better and cooler for sure.
Yeah, because I've hit the back of my head a couple times where I'm like, oh, I see things differently now.
Yeah, no, it like made me more free about like I was less in. I used to be like an actual classical like painter and artist, and I wanted to be like a museum. I wanted to be like a guy who was in museums, and I really tried it, and I got really sick and pissed off about like every time I would write or do something or like present something, they would always be like Chicano artist, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I didn't. None of that is important at what I'm trying to do here.
Well, you know what it is? It's like Pornhub category. Like you are just your Pornhub category. Like I'm totally leaning into the Latino chub bear thing. Because like
it was infuriating to me when I would get that shit. It would piss me off so much that I like completely stopped. So I got really into skating, and I like busted my head, and you would think that would stop you from skating.
Yeah.
No, I kept skating. I've broken like 33 bones.
Can I film you skating and busting something?
Yeah,
I'm really good at filming. That's one of my things. Like I love filming shit.
Dude, I actually am very jealous of your like YouTube career because it shows you're good at what you do. Every time I've ever tried to commit something, I always get like to it. I'm like, we should go Dutch on this next angle. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like in my head, you know what I'm saying? You're good at like just blocking it, doing it, and getting it out.
Well, like recently, I mean, I just like filming my life. I have like hundreds of hours of like things I've never uploaded, like concerts and stuff. I want to do it right before I die, just upload everything in mass. What I need is like one like psychotic person who's obsessed with me to be like my little minion that just does it for me. But I've been like slowly manifesting it very slowly.
We have that in the homie chat, and I love that for us because
I used to like that, but then like sometimes there was like some weird facetiousness where I was like, oh, you're just trying to use me for something. Like it's like an angler fish, you know, like those fishes in the deep sea where they have like a sparkly little light you follow and they eat you. Like sometimes I get energy from that from people like that, so I know how not to fuck with people like that.
Yeah, no, I get you. I'm kind of I do fuck with the anglerfish males. Do you know about
the ones that they fall into them and they get absorbed into them?
Yeah, like they bust nuts so hard that they become them. Like you know what I'm saying? That's like the ultimate.
That's my favorite thing about being really into reciprocal head giving is like if someone sucks my semen, they get a bit of my energy, and if I suck their semen, I get their energy. So that's why I'm filled with like a chaos kaleidoscope of a bunch of different attributes.
My crazy ass mind, in my crazy mind, I've always thought about this, but like that's how you become a stronger dude.
Yeah, like, do you know that one guy that there's like this shaman guy that he calls like penises hummus cannons and stuff? Like that shit's real, but like he's so like coked out that like no one's gonna believe him.
The yoni, he's like the guy who's like your I forget what he calls
the stink portal is the anus.
The stink portal, that you need to.
Like it makes sense because like I'm totally in the middle of sexuality. Like I feel like I could do anything. Like you know, on the compass of like masculine, feminine, all this other stuff. Like I'm directly in the center, but that's because I try to balance my chakras like crazy. I fuck with like my whole thing is like I literally believe your thoughts create your reality. So like I'm always just like at like some weird zen. So I just like let it flow around me. Like
dude, me and you are so similar. It's ridiculous. The only difference is that I'm the negative version of all of these things.
Yeah, that's I've sensed this right away. You remember the first thing I said to you?
Yeah, you were like you have a nice. You said that my face was symmetrical.
Yeah, your face is so incredibly symmetrical.
Yeah, you're like the order version of my chaos, and I was like, damn dog, it's true though. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, but the thing is, like, I remember, okay, so this is one of my things, because, like, I have very strong beliefs about, like, everything being weird. I remember I was talking to Vsauce Michael at VidCon 2017, and I was telling him about all my theories. He's like, Frank, don't get all crazy with it. Sometimes it's just a coincidence. And then, like, he left, and I was like, well, shit, fuck, what do I do now?
Yeah. No, dude, I was on RFTB, Radio Free Tote Bag. And Dono immediately, before we started recording, was like, you've heard of FrankJavC? I'm like, have I heard of FrankJavC? And then he was like, you got the same fucking energy as that guy. It's like, holy shit, crazy.
Dono showed up to my show in Chicago.
Sick.
That show was so awkward though, because there was like this guy at the beginning, like he was like severely on the spectrum, but like he hated me, and I could feel that. So he would just like keep asking me questions. He's like, "What's your favorite Boards of Canada album?" And I was like, "I don't know, I don't really listen to them." And then he would just go on like, "What's your favorite?" And I was like, "Bro, I don't know you. Leave me alone." And then I go, yeah, and then I go up to him I'm like, "What's your favorite FrankJavC album?" He's like, "I've never heard of that man in my life." And I was like,
That's crazy,
I was like, "Okay, cool. All right, see you. Bye."
Speaking of favorites, you said well, since you're a sax player, I was going to ask, who's your favorite sax player?
Lisa Simpson.
Lisa Simpson.
That's the correct answer.
Honestly, not to be a narcissistic, but it's just me. Like, I don't go out of my way to listen to saxophone players. Like, a lot of people are like, "What's your favorite Coltrane? What's your favorite?" Like, they list all these stuff, and I'm like, I just started playing clarinet in middle school, and then it just went from there. Like, I don't go out to seek sax. I just do sax, if that makes any sense. It's like I have a lot of sax.
You're kind of a saxy guy. I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of saxed up.
But like that's the thing where I told you it's like a fertility god, because like I was in Pittsburgh walking around and there was all these like things, like there was a guy that plays bagpipes, but the logo he used was Coco Pelli, the Native American shaman like god for fertility, and it was just like this guy playing like a big flute and had like big hair, and I was like, that's just me. And then I realized I was like, oh shit, I'm like being that thing, that effigy of like a flute player, and like it's weird. Like I'm not gonna. This is one of the weird things. After I play sax and I go out into the audience, at least like maybe 50% to 75% of the audience wants to fuck afterwards. And I'm like, okay, calm down.
That's why they use the sax in like the 80s and 90s like pornos, right?
Yeah.
Like it's it get you in the mood sometimes.
I've played shows where like afterwards people go fuck in the bathrooms and like it's super weird. I'm like, okay, I get it, but like at the same time, like calm your titties. Like I'm doing a show soon in LA and I'm inviting my family, like my full family, like aunts, uncles, nephews, and I'm like, please do not be weird.
Yeah, I've never performed in front of my family because I know that, like, growing up in a Latino family, they are your first bullies. They will roast your ass for anything, and you'll never live it down.
That's why I'm kind of happy my parents raised me like pagan. Like my mom was really new age, so like she was like, believe in whatever you want to believe, and I was like, cool.
My mom was the same. What the fuck is going on here, dude?
Yeah, we should kiss.
What the fuck is going? We should. Dude.
My mom was not. My mom was super Catholic.
Let's beat her up.
Yeah.
But my dad was very like, yeah, Buddha, whatever, dude. We'll just get a bunch of statues. It's fine.
My mom used to wake my ass up at 5 a.m. and she's like, we're gonna go pray to the equinox and talk to a maestro. And I'm like, what the fuck is going? Like, what are you talking about?
It's like all the same thing too. It's like worshiping and like rituals and stuff, but it's just different like fonts. Like I feel like if I was raised super Catholic and stuff like that, I'd probably be really incredibly straight and have a white girlfriend.
Yeah. I'm glad you don't have either of those things.
Yeah.
That would suck, to be honest with you.
I don't know if it would suck. I think I would probably be like softly alt-right. I'd be like, here's my son, Goku Contreras.
Goku Contreras.
That goes hard. That's like naming your kid Jesus.
Yeah.
Because Goku is just Jesus. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Goku Contreras. There's like nowadays, like in like some like Latino classrooms, there's like fucking, what is it, Sasuke Sanchez.
Yeah.
You got Naruto Lopez. Like they're, you know.
My cousin named his son Baruto, and I'm like, damn, that you couldn't even name him the good one. Like, that's fucking crazy, dude. Like you're
damn.
You ruined this kid's life, dude.
I've always wanted to get a rescue dog and name him Yamcha.
There you go.
Dude. Imagine Baki Sanchez. Baki Sanchez is gonna come.
That sounds sick.
Yeah, he's on his way.
That's a nice combo.
Dude, Baki Sanchez is on the way, dude. It's all bad, dude.
You think Dingy? You think kids will start getting named Dingy as like Chainsaw Man continues gaining traction?
You never know.
Denji, wait, do you remember that? I can't remember. There was like a Twitter post about it, and I don't know if it was true or not, but it was a girl who chose her name to be Psycho. But it's the like Japanese spelling of psycho, but like her therapist refused to call her psycho because she was thinking it was
psycho.
Like psycho. Like, and so like it started this huge fucking debate online. It first started out as like, is her therapist wrong for assuming that? And then it came into like, should she be allowed to do this because she's a white girl from Brooklyn? Like Psycho is a Japanese name. Like she just did.
So here's my thing on that, right? Like I don't I don't know if that was real or not, but here's my thing. As a trans woman, is that if you feel that you have a specific attachment to a name that you want to have, you should be able to change your name to that. As long as it's not like the N-word or something stupid like that, you know, right?
Probably is going to
like,
happen though more sooner than you think.
I have no idea. But like the reason my name is Ivy is because I am autistic and I was just bouncing around names that had the V sound in them. Like that's it. Yeah, it's very pleasant to kind of roll it around in your mouth, you know? So I was doing that for months and I was like, I could name myself like all sorts of things. So I was just going from thing to thing to thing to thing. It sounded like it had a V in it, landed on Ivy eventually. Everybody has their own process for like their name or something like that, right? Like if I had learned like Japanese or something like that, and I got really into, let's say I got like really into like Japanese poetry or something like that, right? Like I could see myself naming myself after a Japanese poet that I really respected or something.
Mishima.
You know what I mean?
Yukio
like
Mishima.
yeah. Like my middle name I took from one of my great uncles, like as a family tradition kind of thing. You know, I think you should be able to name yourself whatever you want to name yourself.
Yeah.
Cool. Is extremely funny. Her therapist is like, "Oh, Psycho, huh?"
Yeah. I'm good. No. In another
my
life,
name is Ichigo Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I always wanted to
Sasuke Hernandez.
I wanted to take if I ever got married, I wanted to take my girlfriend's last name, which would be Nguyen.
Yeah.
So just so I can fucking confuse the shit out of people. Be like, yeah, I'm Marcos.
Yeah, that rules.
Like, people are like, what who is this guy? But I went to school with a guy named Sergio Wong. And I remember, like, no one understanding that he was, like, Mexican and Chinese. Like, not a single person.
Wait, really?
They were like, yeah, everyone was like Sergio Wong. And then they would see him, and they would be like, what's wrong with your face? Right?
Jesus Christ, man.
Like, that's what's wrong with this. It was crazy. I grew up in the 90s. That was normal.
Speaking of
Mexican Chinese people aren't even uncommon. Like
No,
there
not
was
insane.
like a long history of like trade relations between China and Mexico.
Yeah,
Dude,
no.
speaking of Mexican and Chinese, I remember there was this Chinese kid, and me and him had like the same friend that we were trying to win over, right? But we would always fight. And I remember, I never forget this fucking story. One time at lunch, this is like fucking 4th grade, 5th grade, and this kid comes up to us and he's like, why can't you guys just get along? And then I literally look at him and I look at the kid, I'm like, the Mexican and Chinese War. And he's like, yeah, the Mexican and Chinese War. We never said we were joking or anything, but that was the one time we like
That
joined
fool
forces.
legitimately
Mexican
believes
China
that.
War.
Yeah, that a war happened in Mexico and China, and he's never been corrected, dude. Jesus Christ.
It sounds real. It sounds fun. I would eat
yeah.
some chow mein tacos.
Yeah, yo, one of the craziest things. I don't know if you've ever been to the Bay, like proper, like.
I was only there for like. I went to Berkeley. That was fun. I have a story about when I was like just walking around Berkeley by myself. And there was this busker on the corner, and he was like singing like. So I went up to him and I was like, "Here, let me show you how to get attention." So I gave him the chords, and he started playing chords, and I sang "All Star Smash Mouth" really operatic. And then like these like e-girls showed up, and they're like, "Yeah, oh my god, I love that song." They're singing along with us. And I'm like, "That's how you get attention." He's like, "Well, I'm moving to Scotland next week," and I'm like, "Well, do that in Scotland." And I got it on video. I filmed it on video, but like I didn't want to upload it because the kid looked so uncomfortable because he was like.
Dude, but you don't. You're a lot like me in the sense that you don't understand that you bring the energy up wherever you go.
Oh, I know I do.
Yeah, like I do it in a bad way. Like I bring people chaos. I bring shit.
Oh,
into
I
their
could tell.
lives. Yeah. Like,
But yeah, the only time I was in the Bay Area was I was at Berkeley, and then I was in Sacramento because I used to DJ at this bar called Golden Bear, in like
Yeah.
and our Sophia's Tie was another one, and I remember we DJ'd right after the quarantine, so it was crazy because I actually did the coolest like accidental DJ transition of my life. I was playing Sandstorm, and Sandstorm's a big song. If you play Sandstorm for people, they go crazy jumping off the walls. We're on a patio of a Thai restaurant. There's like maybe like 100 people in this area jumping on the thing, and like the manager runs up to me like really angry, like, make them stop, you're gonna destroy our patio. I'm like, oh shit. So then I was gonna transition to the next song, which was it was a Spice Girl song, but it was like two different BPM because I was playing Sandstorm at like 140 and the BPM was 100. So I started going so tell you what you want, what you really, really want. And when I pull that off, everyone's like, oh, but like different beats per minute have different movements. So at 150, you're like jumping. 100 is when you start grinding. So like when I set it to 100, I saw this, there was like this gay couple that was in front of me. They were just like humping each other in front of everyone. They're like, yeah, go. And they were just like grinding, and I was like, okay, cool, whatever.
Sick, hell yeah.
Oh, and then at Golden Bear, I was performing one of my songs. It's called Omega Tribe, and there was this couple just making out in front of me, and I was like, like halfway through the song, I'm like, do you guys want me to join? Like, what is the point? Like, stop kissing in front of me. But like the thing is, like, the girl kept looking at me, and I was why are you making out with your mans looking at me while I'm singing a song about getting my dick sucked? It's like, calm down.
She gets it.
But that's the point. I love DJing because I love watching people have fun, but it does feel like being a preschool teacher because like everyone's drunk, everyone's fucked up, and everyone's on their like low vibrational brain, so they're like, so like I remember this girl comes up to me and she's like, can you play my song? And I was like, yes, sweetie, I will. Go play. And then
that's when you dropped Chacarone.
Yeah.
I can't be good at DJing because I need people at their hive brains. You know, that's why I'm a comedy guy. That's why I was doing terrorism at open mic comedy night.
Terrorism. What's your favorite joke? What's something that you've known that just kills?
The joke that I do that kills? Yeah. I have one recently that I tell, but I don't do comedy anymore. But this was my last joke. So I recently became a mailman. Mm-hmm. And I had this lady on my route, and I would knock on the door to ask her because I needed a signature, and she would open up the door, look at me, I would say I need a signature, and then she would just slam the door in my face. And so it happened to me like 3 or 4 fucking times, and I was pissed off about it. And then one day I get like mail, another package, but this one says like for the deaf, like it's like an auditory or like a braille book for the deaf. I'm like, oh, she's deaf. I'm like, man, I'm being a dick this whole time. Like, I'm such an asshole. Like, I didn't even think about consider her. So I go up, knock on her door, give her the thing, and then I give her, like, I said, hey, I still need a signature for this package, but I write it out on my phone and I show it to her, and she slams the door in my face. And then I like realize, oh, she's not deaf, she's a bitch. Oh fuck, like, damn, that's the joke that I have that gets the most laughs, but
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Can I tell you a story about me with it was It has to do with a deaf person, but when I was in middle school, I signed up for like this thing where like they put on a play with the all the hard of hearing kids. They did like some sign language thing, and I would like translate for them. But one day I worked at the student store. This is the only job I've ever had in my entire life, and like one of the kids, the deaf kids, he wanted a Gatorade, and so I went to go get him a Gatorade, and like he gave me the money, but he was like being like really like just kind of like showing off to his friends. So he said to me, like, you know, in his deaf voice, he was like, thanks, fat ass, because back then I was fat, and I was like, damn. And that's when I knew I was gonna make music for the rest of my life.
That's pretty good, dude. That's solid.
Yeah, but like he really did say that. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I like as a kid, like, you know, I was like, at least I can hear, but like I didn't want to be an asshole about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But still, I was like, damn. At least he thought it was fat. I don't have an ass in real life. It's flat.
I'm the opposite, dude. It's awful.
I know. I heard.
I've been laughing lately. My brother and I were talking about what if Scotty Kilmer was reviewing anime.
Mm-hmm.
Who's Scotty Kilmer?
The guy that does like car YouTube videos, you know.
See, you lost me.
The guy that kind of talks like this.
Oh, okay, now I get it. Now I get why it's funny.
You see, Naruto wanted to be the Hokage, but they don't make ninjas like that anymore.
This is like a Bill Cosby Simpsons bit.
Yeah.
has a kunai, and Sasuke throws it past Zabuza. And then it turned into like, what if Scotty Kilmer was like AI doing MF Doom songs? Yeah, he's getting worse and worse. Like
me and this dude used to have a bit where we would call each other every time we would get sick. He would call me and he would like, oh, baby, dude, I got doopy, goofy voice. You know, dude, this smell like poopy. And I'm like, dude, like, I hated it. It used to make me laugh, but I also
it started because we kept being like, how come you never come over?
Yeah, you don't come over to my house no more. Like,
Do you guys live close to each other?
yeah, I literally
Kinda.
saw him today.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
We live
stopped
like
by
a
his house to
city,
give
two
him some
cities away
Christmas
from
presents.
each other. Yeah. But
Merry
like
Christmas.
I have such a fucking like on the go life. It's hard to be friends with me. I'm like,
Yeah, I was hella busy today. I thought I wasn't gonna have time to see you because I went to the post office.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I did.
I wish I was a mailman. That sounds like fun.
it's not like you have to be.
I just love walking.
It's tight to walk, but also you have to like be cursed. Do you know what I mean? Like you
How
have
many
to-
steps do you get a day? I just need to know that.
I walk like 12 miles a day every day.
So how many
So,
steps is that? Like
It's over 50,000.
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's over 50,000, and I bike to work. So like,
Okay, your knees must be
are
screaming.
destroyed. No, they hurt so bad.
Yeah, and then you skated, so you have all these like what
Bad
is it called?
injuries.
Cartilage that's like all calcified.
Yeah, it destroyed cartilage.
That's so interesting.
The thing that got me to stop skating was I broke my ankle. Like I wanted to get back.
Ooh.
I broke my ankle, and I broke it like backwards. So like
Ooh.
right, and I went to the hospital. I don't know how familiar you are. I don't know if they have them in SoCal, but we have this hospital chain out here called Valley Med. Which
Oh,
is
we don't
where
have
you-
that.
Yeah, where you go to die.
Oh,
That's where
interesting.
yeah, you go to that hospital. It's a death sentence to go to that hospital because it's like one of the worst hospitals
Mm-hmm.
of all time. But they'll see you without insurance, so you know what I mean. That's why they're
Yeah.
as bad as they are. So like, I went in there. They saw that my ankle was broken, and they were just like, "Well, we'll get a cast on for you, but the next appointment we have for a cast is 3 weeks from today." So they sent me home with my ankle backwards, and I went home. No, they gave me like Tylenol with codeine in it, which is not enough for what that
Yeah.
was, right? And so I like immediately take all those pills that does nothing for me. I'm in crazy amounts of pain. I come back to the hospital 3 weeks later, and the doctor was like, "How come your ankle is backwards?" And I was like, "'Cause it's broken." Like, and he's like, "No,
Yeah.
it healed this way."
Oh no.
And I was like, "So what does that mean?" He's like, "I'm gonna have to re-break it, dude." And so I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna get you local anesthetic. We're gonna shoot you up in your ankle, and then you won't feel the re-breakage, but I have to re-break it, and then we'll recast it." And I was like, "Okay." And so then I left, I'm like in the waiting room still, or in the office, like on the bed, and the nurse comes in, and she's like gonna give me the local anesthetic, and then she starts talking to like one of the intake guys, right, and like flirting with him, and they're like talking and flirting, and like, you know, like she's like, "What are you doing later?" You know, like that, and she doesn't at any point give me the shot.
oh my god.
Oh
And
God.
the fucking doctor comes in.
Oh, now I remember this story.
Yeah, the doctor comes in and he's like, "Oh, okay, looks like everything." And he just fucking breaks my shit, and I scream so fucking hard. I like pass out from screaming, and then he was like, the nurse was like, "Oh, I didn't give him the shot," and he's like, "Oh, it's okay. We don't got to put it on the bill then, I guess." And then like wraps my shit up, sends me home, and I'm home for like literally 3 weeks, and then I get another call back, and they're like, "Hey, your X-ray came back. We actually need to do surgery." And then like, so they had to do surgery. It was dude. It took that injury, which should have taken like at the most 6 months to heal, took like almost a year and a half.
What
And,
year
like,
was this?
2019 maybe 2018.
Oh, wow.
2000
That's
no,
crazy.
No. This wasn't that. Fuck 2000. Fuck.
I'm thinking like
2010.
12 or 13. Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
2010.
way earlier.
2010?
Yeah, 2010 I think is when it happened.
You were
I was
but a
20 years old.
boy.
I was but a child, cut in the prime
Yeah.
of my youth, dude.
That's
And
crazy.
And I quit skating. I never picked up a skateboard again, like because I was like.
What
I've
about
never-
scooters? I love scooting. That's
Dude,
fun.
I bike now, and I have like
Yeah.
I bike like a crazy person. Like a normal person is like, I'm gonna go like a nice little 10-mile bike ride. I'm like 55,
Yeah.
60-mile bike rides. like cycle.
I would bike with you. Can we bike to like a trail and then throw our bikes into the river and then watch them float away and then throw car batteries in
hold
there?
hands. Yeah, and hold
I'm
hands.
down.
I'm down.
Get salamander poisoning again.
You got salamander poisoned?
Dude. Okay, so
Did you eat it?
Sorry for throwing you into
When
another
I was
story, man.
I
was
need the
like-
lore.
when I was
Yeah.
like 17, so like my grandpa passed away when I was like I think like 13, like 12,
Yeah.
12, and like he was like a big deal, and like he left me money, but he put it as I couldn't touch it until I turned 18 or I got emancipated. But I got emancipated at 17, so I had all this money, and like by money I mean like not like thousands. I think I had like $20,000.
Cool.
And like I didn't know what to do with it,
Uh-huh.
so I bought as much like camping gear, like backpacking gear that I could have, and I decided I'm just gonna like
Live in the woods.
yeah, I'm gonna go live in like the Santa Cruz Mountains and like walk trail to trail, like, and just because you can't stay there for longer than like a month at a time.
Yeah.
So like you have to. So I did. I was like, I'm gonna do this for as long as I can, as long as like until the money runs out, and I was doing that, and I got mad desperate.
And you ate a salamander?
No, I used to. One time I trapped a rabbit, and like,
Uh-huh.
I didn't know what to do. I didn't have the heart to kill it because like it's like a rabbit. And I
Yeah,
was
they're
like,
cute.
yeah, and I was like, damn, I don't have it in me. So I left, and I was like, well, I'll come back and like free it later. And then I got so fucking lost that I couldn't come back to my trap. So when I finally got back to my trap, it had starved to death, and I was like, this
Aw.
is so much worse, dude. Like I was
Yeah.
like, damn, I'm a fucking monster. Like I
Yeah.
should have just killed it, dude. It was awful that I did this. So like I'm like, I'm gonna honor the rabbit. I'm gonna like make it part of my gear, my kit. So like I took it, I skinned it, and I was gonna like make a fucking
Pelt?
like, yeah, like I was like thinking of moccasin. I was like, if
Yeah.
I just have one moccasin, it would be cool, right? And so then I made it, and like I didn't understand how to do that.
Yeah.
And so that I like tied it up with like shoestrings, and I like sewed it up with like a bone needle that I had made out of a chicken bone, and like
Yeah.
like
Minecraft in real life.
Yeah, I was doing that, and then when I finally like did it, like I wore it for like 3 days, and then I woke up one morning to like a horrific smell, and I looked down, it was like rotting on my foot. And I was
Yeah.
like, damn, you'd have to be professional to do this kind of shit. So like
I feel like maybe okay, so this is like the Carmack like energy of that later was like you put it on your foot and then your foot breaks like crazy like in the coming years. It's like,
yeah, no, absolutely.
there is
There's
like a
there's
weird
karma,
energetic
yeah.
thing about
There's
that.
karma,
Yeah.
for real. It was the foot that I broke too. So
Yeah.
it makes absolute sense. But like,
That's so crazy. So remember, kids, don't fucking kill animals or wear their skin
Yeah, don't
without
do that
some
to
sort
try
of
and honor
ritual.
them.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck. I should have just buried it like a normal person.
Yeah.
But then, so I used to have a method, especially when I was desperate. What I used to do was I would make things, and I would
Mm-hmm.
trade the people who passed by the things that I had made. So like I made like flower crowns because I'm in the
Yeah.
Santa Cruz Mountains. I'm not like super duper remote.
Yeah.
Right? Like I would just like make flower crowns or things, and I would just trade people who were backpacking for the day, and I'd be like, if you got like an egg or like whatever the fuck you'd like, a sandwich, I'm willing to give this to you, right?
Yeah.
But like during the winter months, it was brutal because no one was coming out.
Yeah.
I didn't really pack that much food, so I was trying to live off the land, and I had a method of catching crawdads.
Mm-hmm.
Where I took like a gallon of like a gallon water jug, and I cut it in half, and I tied like some rope, and I made like netting for it so that the water could pass through, but whatever was coming through the stream would get stuck in that. So I
Yeah.
would catch like crawdads and bugs and shit like that, and I never ate the bugs, but I tried to fish. I wasn't very good at it, so I couldn't catch fish. But like the crawdads I would eat, and every now and then I would find salamanders, and I would never eat them because they were sticky, and I was like,
Yeah.
these are gross. And then one day I was extremely like I was fucking so hungry. I hadn't eaten in like 3 days. I fucking exhausted. I like hiked from Waddell Beach, which is like 15-20 miles away from where I was supposed to be at, and I go and I check my little trap, and I see that I had like a trap full of salamanders. And so I thought to myself, what I'll do is I'll like boil the salamander and get rid of the juice because that's probably the poison, and then I'll
Yeah.
just firecracker and like put them over the fire and eat them like crunchy.
Yeah.
So I did that and ate them, and I ate like 12 of them, and then I'm like at my camp, and I'm sitting there, and like my camp is 1.5 miles from the inclement weather, where the like inclement weather shelter, and then right next to that is like those guys, you know what I'm talking about, the park rangers. And so like I go and I eat, and all of a sudden I felt like someone stabbed me in the gut with like a knife and just started twisting, and then like without control I just started shitting, like I had no, and it was awful. And like at that point I was like in so much pain, I'm like, I'm gonna die, like this is how I die. And so I go and I tried to crawl to the inclement weather, and I did. I crawled like 1.5 miles on my like hands and knees, and I get to the fucking inclement weather thing, and the park ranger just pulls up, and he's like, "Oh my God, are you okay? What happened?" And I'm like, "I ate." And he's like, "Oh, you ate mushrooms?" And I go, "No, I ate salamanders." And then he was like, "Dog, that's a felony." And I was like, "I know." I'm like, "I'm sorry, I was so hungry." And he goes, "I'm not gonna report your ass for that," because he's like, "But you do need to go home." And I'm like, "I don't have a car. I don't have anywhere." He's like, "You want me to call an ambulance?" And I'm like, "No, I can't afford it." And he's like, I'll take you down to this CVS in like Santa Cruz, and then you from where, however. So that was like the end of it. He took me to the CVS. I get in there and take a Pepto-Bismol and immediately feel better. Like,
what?
It was immediate. Like I was like, "Oh my God." But he's like, "I'm not gonna bust your ass." He's like, "Because you smell like shit, you're covered in doo-doo, and like you fucking, and you almost died from salamander poisoning." He's like, "But that is a felony." He's like, "They're protected species." And I'm like, "Fuck."
Your lore is so interesting, it's mind-boggling. It's like you do the exact opposite of whatever I would have done in that situation.
Dude, no, that's what I'm saying, dude. Meeting you is really like meeting you're the good version of the story. You know what I mean? Like you're
it's like on the scale of like what is it? Lawful good,
Yeah.
like chaotic,
chaotic evil.
Yeah.
No, for real, dude. Like it's true. It's
That's so
crazy.
sick. I do want to meet you. I'm gonna throw a show in your city just for that reason.
Yeah, dude, for sure. Come to San Jose.
I have a lot of like NorCal friends. I have like friends in what is that one place, Reading? I want to go to Reading really badly.
Dude, I'm afraid of Reading.
I've heard.
Reading is.
Why? What's up
scary.
with Reading? What's
It's
the
just mad
vibe?
racist. So
Yeah.
the way my
He's like,
understanding.
"Yeah, dude, I love racism."
Well, okay, so here's my secret to how I deal with racist people and how I get them to like just like me. I act like a golden retriever, and then they'll be like, "Okay, he's one of the good ones," and I just continue. Like I am not joking. That's how I deal with them.
My way around it, dude. This is the exact. I always tell them a racist joke about white people. They
There you
love
go.
hearing that shit. So it's the opposite, right? You go for the golden retriever. I go for a pit bull.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm just trying to be like, actually, your Caucasian brain couldn't understand tacos, to be honest with you.
Well, I have an interesting stomach-related injury story. It was during the height of quarantine. I developed stomach ulcers from taking too much Advil PM and drinking a Monster Energy drink every day.
Oh, that
So-
sounds like it would do it.
Yeah, so the lining of my stomach ended up digesting itself, and I was
Tight.
like in immense pain, vomiting every day. And then I went to the hospital, and they're like, "Well, we have more important things to worry about right now," because it was like the height of when everyone was dying of COVID.
Yeah.
So I just Googled my symptoms and bought a bunch of cabbages and ate cabbage juice for like 2 weeks, and I ended up losing like 50 pounds, and I was in my twink era then, so I started wearing a bunch of femboy clothes and taking little
I
photo
remember
shoots like
was,
that.
It was a wonderful time for me.
Thank
I'm not
you.
gonna lie to you. Yeah.
Yeah. But like right now, I'm just like, I'm in my impreg era. I don't know why I don't gain weight anywhere else, just in my stomach. So I actually made a post about it, and it got like over like 300 likes on my Instagram story. And like I feel like there's such Freudian psychology about certain aspects of like just like sexuality. And for some reason, I think whenever anyone sees a large engorged stomach, they're like, hell yeah. So like,
I get fat everywhere. I have like a very bizarre.
yeah, you're very symmetrical. That was the first thing I noticed about you. Like for some reason, it's just
Square.
everywhere.
I'm
yeah.
very square. It's not. I have like a very square build.
I'm built like a music note.
That's cool, dude. No, Ruben can like attest to this. Like I'm a wall. Like and like when I get
we
fat,
we say Marcos is 5'5" by 5.
yeah, I'm 5
Yeah,
by 5.
just a cube.
5'5"
I love the
wide.
cube. The flesh
the
cube.
flesh cube.
Mr. 5 by 5 is a song literally by him.
That's crazy.
He's 5 feet tall and he's 5 feet wide.
I love
We
that.
never know if he's leaving or coming.
Yeah, we went to Montana together, and like everyone knows that, like, oh yeah, Marcus is a big guy, and like when I get there, everyone's like, it's crazy that you're like that I'm calling you big guy, like I'm calling you big man, but I'm looking down at you. You know what I'm saying?
Guy.
A lot of people have that, like, Marcos is a big guy, but he's not like a big guy.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. I have a fucking everything. Like I said, dude, we're opposites of each other, and I'm fascinated by it, dude.
I'm fascinated about it too, and it's interesting that we like, because I remember I do a lot of things on a whim. Like whenever someone asks me something, I'm a guy to say yes. So like when I got that podcast, I said yes, and then it like unraveled this little like character arc story. But like there's been times I've denied certain things, but I always feel like whatever path I take, it's meant for me to take. Because there's been times I've gotten like big, huge, just like random opportunities, and like I'll sleep through it, or like I'll show up extremely late and everyone leaves, or something happens where it doesn't happen. So like I like to believe my life is just like kind of like I just go with the flow and things happen when they happen.
I'm constantly working against the flow.
Yeah.
I'm swimming upstream the entire time. I am on time, and I'm going places, and people are mad at me because I showed up an hour early, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna stay.
I always show up directly on time. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out which one of you is the bizarro version of the other.
Yeah.
It's
We'll
crazy.
see.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's nuts. Dude, see, like, but that's what I mean by like, I saw you at the exact right time when I like found your, because I was like, so another little interesting lore thing that happened, and I recently put this out on my Patreon, but really early on, I want to say like 2015, around 2015, I stole Flying Lotus beats. Stole is the wrong word. What I did was I took them because I was getting into rap and rapping seriously, and I was thinking to myself, I can't be like these other rappers and just do like the A, B on the beat, like drop this on, like, you know what I mean? I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do something different. So I was like, I need like beats that are bizarre, that are like very difficult to rap to.
Yeah.
And Flying Lotus is that. So I took his first two albums. I picked the songs I like. And originally it was 20 songs. And I just rapped over them. And then I put it on SoundCloud, put it on Twitter, and like added Fly Low, was like, hey, I did this to your album. And he retweeted and was like, this is dope shit. And I was like, sick. I DM'd him, and he's like, yeah, man, this is cool. Like, that's all he said was, yeah, man, this is cool. The next day, I wake up, I'm starting to get a ton of like traction, like reposts, people like likes. This is like a really old Twitter account that I had. And like, I'm like, oh shit, it's popping off. Like my shit's popping off. And then the next day I get like I get a cease and desist email. My SoundCloud gets removed and my Twitter gets suspended. And it's from Adult Swim.
Oh,
And
wow.
then, like 2 weeks later, I get like an actual physical copy, like an actual mail letter that's like cease and desist. Like, don't do this, right? And
Yeah.
So, like, it completely discouraged me from making like, I was like, damn, I'm just gonna give up. I don't want to do this shit anymore. And like, I was out of it. And then that's right around the time that I discovered your Tumblr and your videos. And then I was like, nah, I gotta keep going. Like, I can't.
It's funny
like,
because the same thing happened to me. Like the actual software I make music with was like we're gonna kill you, and I was like, damn, okay.
you did show me how to pirate FL Studios, and like that's
What software are you using now?
FL Studio. I still use the same software because I'm like goated at that shit. Like whenever I show up to the studio, like if you have FL Studio, I could do like the craziest shit of it. Like it's so crazy. Like I know shit that like most people don't know, but there's like a lot of new FL Studio guys out there. It's just like I know that like they were mad at me because they had like proof that I got people to download 100,000 pirated copies of their software, and they had like all this receipts on me and like what cracks I used and stuff like that. But like honestly, at the end of the day, it's like when you are successful, like that's one of the things about the currency of like just like doing stuff is like when you have big highs, like sometimes you have big lows. So like I'm just having a slow build. I don't want anything crazy. Like low-key, I'm in my, it's weird because like a lot of people are saying like I'm in my like I fell off era, but like right now I'm getting like 5 million streams a month on Spotify. Like, the most people have ever listened to my music are listening to it right now. So it's like, I do want to come back and help people. It's just like, I did feel a little bit like I've had some weird shit happen to me. I don't really talk publicly about all the like crazy dark shit behind the scenes that's happened to me with like just like last year someone pretended to be me and was like trying to steal all my music, and I had to like hire a lawyer to like to be like, no, that's my original composition and stuff. So it was like some weird shit, but like you said with like copyright and stuff, like people use that as like weapons and ammunition against you, because like when you're doing well, they like some people don't want you to do well. That's why like I'm also really into astrology. Like when you were telling me about like when things happen to you, I'm like, oh, that was obviously your Saturn return. Like my whole Saturn return, like I lost like the majority of my friends, like a lot of my friends, like that people I used to talk to a lot, they like switched up on me and turned on me, and like some of them got canceled, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on? But then after it was over, I could find out who my true friends are. So that's why like I tell you, like I can sense energy when someone wants to use me and someone just is like interested or inspired by me. So like those are like things that I in the industry I could feel. Like I've been getting a shit ton of emails from China recently, so I'm thinking about doing stuff with them, but they all feels kind of scary because they're like, we want your music on our Chinese platforms, but like it's very vague, and I'm like, I don't really, in my heart I could feel like they'd probably take it from me, and that's what I don't want, because like if you don't know the law, people could just do weird shit to you.
That's why like
Can
I
you
have
tell them I
my
want some chicken feet?
Okay, I love chicken feet. I love feet in general. I wrote a post today. Ooh, I was someone was like, your digital footprint, and I was like, foot fat. And then someone screenshotted my tweet talking about digital footprint and getting horny over feet, and so right under it says all artists have some form of mental illness.
But I agree with that 1000%, dog. Like, listen, I wouldn't be doing this shit if I was stable. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't be a male. Hell yeah. That is crazy. I don't think I have the flexibility.
You thought of $5 a toe? Is that after you hit your head? You hit your head real hard, and you're like, $5 a toe.
$5 a toe. I'm super flexible. That's one of my crazy things. Like I could do some weird shit with my body.
Dude, again, with like the opposite, I am the most inflexible man of all time.
That's crazy.
Hilarious. What was it? I was saying on the podcast the other day that Marcos like does not have ragdoll physics when he falls.
I don't. He can. He's seen me fall before, and I fall stiff.
Yeah.
Like I fall like I'm a fucking Skyrim.
Well, that's how you broke.
Character.
Like I remember, I actually took acting lessons from this woman. She was a trans woman who talked about like having to shatter completely in order to survive. So if you hold on to tension or anything, that's what kills you. But if you learn to just fall with like a flow, you survive from accidents, from like anything. No, so I like being flowy.
I'm like, I will like thug it out. I will just harden
Thug it out.
and hit shit as hard as possible, and hopefully it doesn't hurt, and it does always. But it's whatever.
It does always.
It always hurts.
So Marcos falls, he literally bricks up.
Yeah,
Let's go. You know, I've been having erectile dysfunction issues, but I've been jelking for like most of my life, so I think that's one of the reasons. So don't jelk, because then you'll have a floppy dick.
Dude, no, I have the opposite.
You fall like a FIFA celebration.
My dick is rock hard, but it's not in a fun way, in a bad way. Like, I have priapism. You know what that is?
What's that? I don't know what that is.
It's when your dick stays hard for too long.
Oh, yeah. I know what that is now.
It's when your dick looks like Richard Pryor's neck.
Yeah. I got a little fro on the top. No, I have priapism. Like, I have, like, medical priapism. And it's caused, they don't know what causes it, but, like, a normal person can have, like, a boner for, like, up to 2 hours, and then it becomes dangerous. Yeah. And, like, naturally I can get one for like 5 hours, and
that's crazy. It's painful. I'm literally the exact opposite. What is up with that? Something strange.
That's what I'm saying. We're like, it's weird. It's weird to be connected to somebody like from far away, but not ever interacting. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's like that. Like I fuck with quantum physics so badly, and it's interesting to see like someone who's like the exact opposite of my life.
I always think of it as like most people are the opposite of me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I'm kind of the wrong way to be a person in a lot of ways. And so like I can see that. But with you especially, dude, like from I felt that connection even like when I was just a fan. I was like, man,
Yeah.
he just like me for real, but different.
I just have like I like one of the weird things when people are like, "Oh, I miss your old YouTube video days," but I was like a huge solipsist back in those days. So I was like a huge like I understand I have like narcissistic tendencies and stuff, but I'm not like sociopathic where I get joy out of hurting others. I get joy out of like making people happy, which is why I like putting on parties, putting on shows, watching people be excited and living life. But back in those days, I thought I was the only person that existed for a really long time. And I think the universe does like weird shit to like humble you. So because of that, I was getting humbled a lot. Like I remember it was like a legitimate meme to hate on me, and like people used me as social clout. Like the more you hated me, the more like you would get popular in scenes like in the vaporwave scene and synthwave, future funk. Like the more you hated me, the more you got like just clout in general. So like when I stopped being so solipsistic, people started like liking me more. So it's like kind of weird. Like I don't know. It's like there is a reaction. There are reactions to your actions. That is like.
Do you know about my meme religion that I started? That accident.
I was gonna say it's that's very Babalusa coded. Sounds like you have found the one who humbles.
Yeah.
So a while ago, I had this fucked up memory of Paul Giamatti while he's all blue.
Yeah.
Screaming.
I love that movie.
Yeah. You know what movie I'm talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, Big Fat Liar.
Yeah, Paul Giamatti in all blue, grabbing a camera and like shaking the camera and being like, "Humble me, Babalusa, I am your servant." And I remember him say, like, I remember it, right? And it was and I couldn't stop remembering thinking about it. And I was telling people, like, hey, does anyone else remember where this came from? Like,
It was such a chaotic time in the group chat.
Yeah, it was like a deleted scene
beautiful
or something.
time. Yeah.
And then hella people started picking up on it and being like, dude, I think it's the show The Bobaloos, or like they were trying to figure out what it was. And I was fucking losing my mind. And then one of my friends was like, "Dog, it sounds like a religion. It sounds like something like humble me, Babalusa, I am your servant. Sounds like a fucking like a prayer almost."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Nah, that can't be it." And then like months later, I figured it out. I had like a flash memory of where it comes from, and I was at my grandma's house because she had like dial-up internet, and Big Fat Liar was on in the background, and I was looking up the lyrics to the song "Debaser" by Pixies, and in it he says, "I am un chen andalou," but my stupid ass, I didn't know how to write it, so I was trying to guess what he was saying and find that song, and I was like un chen Babalusa, give me Babalusa, humble Babalusa, and I kept like writing it over and over again, and my wires got crossed, so I remembered it like that. And then I started making memes about a blue guy like Paul Giamatti, like humbling people, coming through to humble people. And as soon as I started doing that, I think like Elon Musk was like posting like Tesla stock was crashing, a bunch of fucking horrible big giant people who were like, I think that's when the Kanye West crash out, when he started doing the anti-Semitic shit, and people were like, "Oh, fuck Kanye West." And I was like, damn, all these dudes are getting humbled. And a bunch of people in my orbit were like, "Dude, you like summoned the god, bro. You summoned like this humbling, this like force, this big blue force that comes and humbles you." And like now I low key believe that it's real. I believe in Bob. Like
Hilarious.
unironically.
I do too,
That rabbit
honestly.
hole is, when we started the podcast, we used to say we were pro Paul Giamatti, and we used to call the fans Paul Giamatters.
Paul Giamatti.
Well, have you
Wait,
seen
you did?
the Paul Giamatti
that's, like,
meme where it's like
episode
goon
3.
sesh with Paul Giamatti?
Yeah, I have seen those. Yeah, I have seen, yeah. But yeah,
I would
no,
have a goon sesh with him. He seems really fun to just chill with.
I'd have a goon sesh with almost anybody, to be honest with you.
Let's go.
There's like a few. There's like a few that I wouldn't.
You know what's
Kanye West,
funny?
I wouldn't do a goon sesh with because he seems like he'd be into some sick
He
shit.
seemed like he'd be like violent about it. Like
Yeah,
he'd hate
yeah.
you for
Yeah.
gooning with him.
Yeah.
But I remember when like I saw whispers of gooning and I was like, I'm gonna turn this into a meme. And like the first thing that I started doing was saying gooning is like a community effort. Like it's not something you do alone. It's something you do with friends.
Dude, so I got the podcast blew up from my first appearance.
Friends never let friends goon alone.
Yeah.
The podcast, the Ain't Shit Show blew up because of I did a guest appearance on a friend's podcast called Western Kabuki. And the only reason why I got that appearance was because I DM'd them. I'm like friends with all of them, but I DM'd them and I was like, "Hey, listen,
They wanted
guys
me,
did a-
but I was busy.
Shut. They did an episode about gooning, and in it they were talking about like gooning is bad, gooning is blah blah, and like it's really blah blah, like, and they were doing all, and I was like, I was like, hey, listen, dude, if you goon with friends, it's not that bad. I was a gooner. I used to goon with friends. Like, it was a thing on Craigslist. It used to be like a thing on Craigslist that I really
I kind of miss that era.
Yeah,
The
I do
personals,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
I used to like just look them up and be like, so this is what's in the neighborhood? Okay.
The J.O.
I have
search.
very dark stories about that era of
Same.
the internet that I don't want publicly known, but for homies, like, I let them know the crazy beyond the scene lore.
I also have horrible stories, but I let everybody know about that shit.
Yeah,
I got butter bathed one time. Like,
Let's
really
go.
Awful shit. Really awful.
Wait, that's the same
shit.
guy that said you look like a turtle, right?
Yeah, he said I'm built like a turtle. Yeah.
Let's
I got a
go.
big back.
Shouts out to Turtles. I like it slow and steady. Like, I don't mind.
Is the Western Kabuki gooning episode, is that how we got into the Gugon memes?
No, the Gugon memes came before that. Dude, I've just been making crazy shit my whole life. The Gugon memes really took off too. Just making fucking...
But isn't Babalusa like an actual thing from like the Flintstones?
Dude, no one knows. It's not...
It sounds 50s. It sounds very
It's-
jazz and swing. There's something like, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Hey,
there's
these
something
cats are
very
cooking.
Mighty Boosh about it.
Yeah.
Babalusa is... But to me, Babalusa is real. You know what the funny thing is too now? Is that like I used to get really upset and mad when I would have bad things happen to me. Like I would be like, fuck, fucking
Yeah.
just kick my... Now, every time something really bad or awful happens to me, my first initial thought is, damn, Babalusa humbled my ass again, dog. Like,
That's
There you go.
exactly what I think
got
every
that.
time.
Got it.
Every time I was like, I
Really
wasn't
got me.
humble enough. I
Yeah,
got
he
humbled.
really got
It
my
gets-
stupid ass, and like, and that just, you know what I mean. And honestly, it's mad healing to feel that way about your
Yeah.
life in general. I think to just
I've been getting humbled left and right the past few years, so like I get that.
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
you know what? Like it does feel like refreshing. Like I said, you have ups and downs, but that's what makes the world, you know, go round. I saw a tweet today where it was like a ball going down an up and down hill and a regular ball just going down. It's like if you go up and down, your ball goes faster. They're like, yeah, but I'm not a metal ball. I'm like a human.
I'm with you on that. A lot
Shouts
of
out to
people forget
balls.
that. Shouts out to balls.
I
do
love
like,
spheres.
I like a big.
Sure thing,
I like
pal.
a
I'm gonna
nice.
keep my balls in my sack, okay?
I like a nice pair of balls. Personally.
Yeah, me
That's my
too.
personal-
I'm
like-
more into the smell rather than the texture.
No, I like smooth balls. That's like
I
just a
like
nice-
balls that look like Mount Rushmore.
That's
Just the jaggiest, cragged
craggiest
thing you can
nut
get.
sack you've ever seen. I get that.
There's faces on them.
I do high key love like if
somebody carved like somebody carved, oh god, who's like a shitty no name president, like Howard Taft or something.
My favorite one's Garfield. He was the largest president.
Oh
we
yeah,
ever
Garfield.
had. He was trapped
Garfield.
in a bathtub.
Did you guys ever see Nutscapes?
No.
what the fuck is
It's this
nuts?
dude who had a Tumblr who would literally take shots, like beautiful, gorgeous scenery, like mountain shots, river shots, but his nuts would always be like just right at the top of the photo. Like just like out of focus and like little hairs coming up.
Let's go.
It's
That
called
sounds sick.
Nutscapes, dude. It's
Dude,
so
that sounds
funny.
tight as hell.
That can't exist on Tumblr anymore. That's so sad. That's why I left, was
Yeah.
just because they got rid of everything good.
Yeah, it sucks. And like now the only thing that's
Yeah, dude.
even
I'm so
remotely
mad I
like
lost
that-
my photos of Japanese girls tied upside down throwing up.
Let's go.
Disgusting.
I think
I can never see that again.
the only thing that now exists like in that form is Twitter, and Twitter fucking sucks dick. It's like
Yeah, Twitter's a psyop. I hate that it like purposely drives you mad.
Yeah.
So like I've been like liking certain things in order to change my algorithm, but it still knows like what gets me fired up and shows me it. But then it'll send me like the random and shit where like we know you're gonna stay. Like it has that perfect amount of like just psyop brain rot.
I get you. I think we're past an hour. I want to read out the homies who support us, but before I do any of that, do you have stuff to plug to let us know about anything?
Well, when is this episode coming out?
It's coming out not this Sunday, but the next Sunday. So
Well,
a week-
because of that, my birthday party already passed. I hope it goes well. That's an interesting thing. Like, I throw a birthday party in LA like every year, and normally they're good. The worst one, like not worst, but it was like there was an actual like the heaviest, rainiest day of Los Angeles this millennia happened, and we were like trapped in Van Nuys, which is a valley, and there was like a foot of water everywhere. And the venue, the lights would like turn off every so often, and there was like a giant windstorm. It was like 200 people trapped inside this giant airport hangar in the middle of like the rainiest day of LA. But it was fun because all of those people who showed up to that event, like I'm still really close homies with. Other than that, just Google me, FrankJavC. Check it out. I'm a bit freaky with it.
Yeah. I'll link you. I'll link to. You have like a website, or I can't remember what.
Nah, I just have like a link tree. Just go to my link
tree.
tree.
Yeah, I'll link.
Or
that
you could
in
just
the
Google me,
show
go on
notes.
image search, go to like the 5th page, and you'll see some crazy stuff.
Yeah, I've seen that crazy shit.
Yeah,
I like it.
it's fun.
Shouts out to the following homies who support this. All fans of FrankJavC. Carrie again, Cookie the Crispiest, Dave H. Musk, Jesus Christ, Dead Raccoon, Ella, lot of L's, Flesh Kaiju, Full Slack, Fuzzy Nalgas, Grungus Fungus Dungus, Hamwich, Hero Brian's dead brother. We've been playing Minecraft and it's been so much fun. The homie Minecraft server is crazy. Jade,
I need
Kevin
to try to get on
Villesen,
that. I keep forgetting.
yeah, Kiefer, Christopher Lynch, Legalize Scubular Fent, hell yeah, Malik Nunez, Pablo Hummus, Proletariat, aka the Working Classio, Ripstone, Roboy, Shmoo, Somewhere Systems, Steven Civic Nano, Theo, A Bag of Sand, Andrew Morgado, Augur, Benny, Beware the Mighty Septipus, Blue Man, Brody, Brian H, Cha Cha Slide, CHO Feskatch, Chris Wade, Cody Hewitt, Doug M, Even Smaller Micro Peenhus, hell yeah, Fred Sharman,
Just
Gabriel,
keeps getting smaller every week.
Homer Runtime, Infest the Deck, Jim Schmungus, Joe Cassidy, Jonathan Weber, Josh G, Kenzie Trayal, Knife Dog, another Knife Dog, Laura, Lee Elliott, Luke Simasek, Mar Goat, Marin is Spinning You, Marie, McTiger, The Maoist Ligers, Fever Dream, yes, Mesh, Min, Mystified, Miss Bird, Names, Obi-Wan Khashoggi, Ogan Acid, Patrick Goldman, Priest Patrol, Rias, Richard Koknar, Rianne, Sarah Zadig, Slithers, Sakram Legnar, Solidus Red, Super Mailboy 64, Space Age, Spenny, Stefan V, Tegan, The Empty Set, The Lale Lule Low, The Limit, oh, and one more thing, Wax Replica, and finally, rounding us all out, is world's largest micro penis. Shouts out to all the homies. I love all of you.
I would like to shamelessly plug that I started a new Warhammer page on TikTok.
That's right.
And you can follow me at Garage Coffin, where I will be posting my projects.
Hell
Cool.
yes. Sick.
Sick.
All right. Bye.
Bye.